Hello everyone, this is Ada. Today I would like to talk about the topic about leadership and teamwork. I choose the board of the hospital. Let me give the profile first. In the case study, the article tells a story about the hospital facilities administrator who wanted to make a hospital system of accounts billing become more modern, and he asked the accounting manager to investigate the hospital available soft package. But the facility administrator, Jack, did not listen to the accounting manager's advice. He just think for his personal interest. He used a French software system, but the system did not suit for the hospital. Finally, the behavior led to the hospital wasted a lot of money and resources, and did not operate smoothly. But the most important key is that the board of the hospital as the leader management. The board of the directors did not follow the responsible, and they did not too fair to judge the things are correct or wrong. They only heard the suggestion from the Jack and did not consider this matter on the overall development of the hospital. Cause the wrong judgment and the blind follow let the hospital face a serious punishment in next 2 years, and these losses are related in economic losses and the system is not appreciated. And for the type of power, I choose coercive power. Let me identify first. Coercive power is a kind of theory, whether in the variety of way or through the meanings of the relationship without the objective. It is through the object and the direct relationship between the communication and all thinking as a meaning to let each other understand and accept their own ideas. Like this type of purpose of this series is called coercive power, and the board of the directors use the feeling to understand or know things without the director evidence or reasoning process. So intuitive can't judge the right or wrong. All things come from the feeling and it is not from objective factors or other factors. And then I will relate to the case study. We can have a clear receipt from the article that because of the board of the direct hospital did a wrong decide, and it brings a bad impact to the hospital. The main reason caused this accident because of the hospital inventiveness, and in the process of the managing of the affairs of the hospital, the directors have the responsible to get the benefits to the hospital, and as the board, the goal is maximize and the benefits of the hospital. But the board of the directors in the article only decided the results by individual, and they heard the recommendation from the staff and make it easy to judge. The board did not have a good job to maintain the basic interest of the hospital, which would harm the interest of this. At the same time, because of the board its directors has a high position in the company, it is impossible to do that every business matter, and the board also has a controversial force. So Mary did not have the opportunity to get better explanation, feedback, recommendation. It gives the hospital caused the very serious problems. And then I will talk about the board's problem. I choose the role as the board of the director in the hospital. Let me reflect first. In the article mentioned the major problem, the hospital in order to provide the appropriate software package and made the wrong judgment. Facilities manager Jack's goal is correct. He hopes the hospital billing system is more modern, and the purpose is to promote the development of the hospital. But in the implementation of the process, he only considered his personal interest, and Mary provides the correct package system. But Jack chose the system is not suited for the hospital because he wants to bring the benefits for his friends. The more serious question comes from the hospital board, because of the board has the power to choose and make the final decision. So the director makes the judgment by individual, and they were more inclined to Jack. So this article reflects the board does not have their own position. there is no correct thought to think and judge things are correct or not. So board of the directors can be fair and it causes the hospital economic losses and the hospital system can't operation well. And then I will give the reflect to what went wrong. For the role of the board I choose, the board of directors should use the concessions as the great power, because it is not only responsible for the hospital, but also responsible for the patient. So the billing system reform should become more convenient for patients and to use rather than make the system more difficult to operate. In addition to making money, the hospital should also provide service for the communicate, and hospital should make a high quality service and make the lowest price for the patient. The hospital should have the goal. It can be said that the mission of the hospital, and as the board of directors should be fair to every employees, and they need to listen to suggestions and feedback from the different employees and then make judgments. They can't rely on individual feeling to make decisions because it's not completed. And then I will talk about the second assessment is about feel. Let me analyze first. We can have clearly see from the article that feel inherit Ben after the management of the factors. He changed Ben's management philosophy and Phil make a big change. Ben selected to give employees create a relatively easy space, so Ben creating a number of reaction activities in the factory and leading staff to do some outdoor activities during the holiday. However, Phil thinks that behaviors will waste time. Companies should always let employees feel nervous, feel in order to let the employees to develop the strict plan and goals, and set up the special department to check the results of the staff, work on the efficiency regularly. Phil give up all of the activities and he thought that it would be keep a good attitude to work. The main purpose is to improve productivity and promote the company's development. If someone does not something wrong, Phil will point out the shortcoming of the staff as an example to show everyone. This strict management approach led to the increase in the staff reduction, but the productivity and the quality has been greatly improved. About the performance. Performance refers to the assessment of the competitiveness of the employees, which is in internal factors, and after training and development can be improved. However, Phil used the incentive theory. The incentive effect refers to the organization and use the individual to achieve the goals of the incentive and the analyzing, and the effective is subjective factors among the 4 factors that affect performance. About the last question is question 2, conclusion. I think Phil's management philosophy is more suitable for the company because as the product company, productivity is the main element. Although high employee certification is important for the company, the high organization performance is more important development than employee certification. And I will relate the Ben. In the article, Ben shows he is a good leader to let the employees become more happier. He always thinks that if employees keep happiness, they can do their work more harder. Moreover, Ben always care his employees and try to know about every employee's hobbies, and he remember every employee's names. He has a very good attitude to face his work, so Ben gives more flexible time to his employees and bring many kinds of activities to them. And the company's employees feel very satisfied to Ben. Also, he is very responsible to this company. And related to Phil, from the case study, Phil shows that he is a very strict person. He always let himself into a serious environment. He checks closely on the performance of the supervisor, and he cancels all kinds of activities. He did not want to lose time on the spare time. He always thinks that employees need to harder during the work time. This is the only way to increase the productivity and promote the development of the company. Under his leader, the organization performance in the result.